Stop for a moment. Without checking Google, without asking AI, could you really explain how a vaccine works? Or a toilet? Or why economic crises happen? Probably not. And that's not a failure. The problem is that 5 seconds later, with a smartphone in our hands, we might convince ourselves that we can. We live in an age in which, for the first time in human history, we can access almost all knowledge humanity has ever produced in just a few seconds. In the past, answering a question required books, libraries, years of study. Today, all it takes is a smartphone. We type, we scroll, we read a headline, and we think, okay, I get it. But do we really get it? Or are we confusing access to information with actually possessing knowledge? Because there is a huge difference between knowing where to find something and truly understanding it. In this video, we talk about why we feel more informed than we really are, how social media and search engines amplify this illusion, why we love simple explanations in a complex world, and why perhaps the smartest thing we can do today is admit how little we know. We live in what is often called the information age. But as psychologist Robert Cialdini once noted, the modern era, often termed the information age, has never been called the knowledge age. Information does not translate directly into knowledge. The fact that something is available does not mean it has been internalized, understood, connected to other ideas, or questioned. Knowing that Wikipedia exists is not the same as having studied history. Knowing that the internet can answer questions does not mean possessing scientific competence. It's like living inside a gigantic library and believing we are wise simply because we are standing in it. Human beings have always externalized memory. We don't remember every object in our homes. We don't remember exactly what is inside every drawer. Why? Because we don't need to. We know that information is there. If we need it, we can retrieve it. Now, imagine this same mechanism expanded to include the entirety of human knowledge. Our brain learns, I don't need to remember. I don't need to understand deeply. I just need to know where to look. Smartphones and the internet become cognitive prosthetics for our mind, an external memory. The problem, we begin to feel competent without actually being so. There is the illusion of knowledge. How often have you read only the headline of an article, watched 10 seconds of a video, scrolled up post, and decided you already had a firm opinion? Our knowledge is shallow in most areas because our brain loves shortcuts. Daniel Kahneman once observed people who have information about a single case rarely feel the need to know the statistics of the class to which the case belongs. For example, we read about a violent event and conclude that the world is becoming more dangerous. We hear about an economic crisis and assume everything is about to collapse. But a single episode is not a trend. Our brains, however, work like this. They take a few data points and build a coherent story. Then they move on to the next piece of content. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Our spending consuming information we will forget the next day. Psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger discovered something unsettling. People who are less competent in a field tend to overestimate themselves the most. Not because they are arrogant, but because they lack the tools to recognize their own limits. The world is complex. The causes of events are tangled together: politic, economic, cultural, psychological. But we don't like complexity. We prefer linear, simple, easy digestible explanations. It's someone's fault. There is a secret plan. There is a group behind it. Conspiracy theories thrive precisely here, in the human desire for order and simplicity. But there is something even deeper. Complexity creates anxiety. Uncertainty makes us uncomfortable. Accepting that there may be no single cause, no clear villain, no hidden plot, requires enormous cognitive effort. Catherine Schultz puts it perfectly: the feeling of knowing something is incredibly convincing and inordinately satisfying, but it is not a very good way to gauge the accuracy of our knowledge. Feeling certain is pleasant, but certainty is not evidence. In fact, it is often the sign that we have stopped doubting. In science, the process looks like this. We observe, we collect data, we look for patterns, we test hypotheses, we try to falsify them. One case is not enough. 10 are not enough. We need large numbers. And sometimes a single contradictory datum is enough to shake an entire theory. In everyday life, however, we do the opposite. We draw conclusions from a single data point and turn rare events into the norm. We generalize from almost nothing. I met two rude people, therefore everyone is like that. An algorithm shows me 3 similar videos, therefore it's happening everywhere. I read 2 articles, therefore it's obvious. We turn exceptions into rules. We don't feel the need to investigate where there might be another explanation. And we almost never ask, am I seeing enough data? Could I be wrong? This is where technology enters the picture. Social networks and search engines are not neutral. They are designed to keep us hooked, show us what interests us, confirm what we already believe. If you click on a certain type of content, you will see more and more of it. An information bubble forms. You don't see the world, you see a version of the world filtered specifically for you. The more convinced you are of something, the more the system shows you evidence that seems to support it. The result? Radicalization. Moderate positions attract less attention. Extreme ones trigger strong emotions: hunger, fear, outrage, and strong emotions keep us online. If we suddenly discovered we were wrong, we would probably look away from the screens. So we retreat deeper and deeper into a cognitive trench. Those who disagree are no longer just people with a different perspective, they become enemies. At this point, something dangerous happens. We stop looking at facts in order to build an idea. We build an idea and then select only the facts that confirm it. This is confirmation bias. If we believe in a theory, every event reinforces it. Every contradictory piece of data is ignored. Every anomaly is reinterpreted. Confirmation bias doesn't make us feel foolish. It makes us feel smart. And that is precisely the problem. And when something doesn't add up, just search online. Sooner or later, you will find an article, a post, a comment, a video that says exactly what you want to hear. The source doesn't matter. The quality doesn't matter. What matters is that it reassures you. We barricade ourselves inside our ignorance, becoming immune to any information that contradicts us, and feeling personally attacked by anyone who doesn't agree. Here's where an interesting paradox emerges. When we train artificial intelligence systems, we worry that they will generalize too quickly. We try to prevent them from drawing rigid conclusions from limited data. We want them to be cautious. What about us? We do the opposite. We generalize enthusiastically, with confidence, with arrogance. We build universal laws from 2 examples. A handful of facts is enough for us to construct explanations and give meaning to what happens. We adapt reality to fit our beliefs. In a sense, we are becoming cognitively lazier than machines. Perhaps the real revolution today is not knowing more. It is accepting how little we know. That is not defeat. It is intellectual maturity. The world is vast, complex, interconnected. Even scientists, experts, Nobel Prize winners understand only tiny fragments of reality. Socrates became famous for a paradoxical line: "I know that I know nothing." It wasn't false modesty. It was a radical stance. Recognize the limit of one's knowledge as the starting point for thinking better. Knowledge is not a finish line. It's a continuous process. Learning doesn't end with university. Critical thinking never stops. And perhaps the most important question we can ask ourselves is not, am I right? But what if I'm wrong? We live in an age in which we can know everything and risk understanding less and less. We have access to ocean of information, yet we navigate in paddles of comprehension. Maybe we should slow down, read more, check sources, accept complexity, and above all, remember that doubt is not weakness, it's intelligence. If this video made you think, leave a like. Write in the comments what topic do you think you know a lot about, but might actually know less than you believe. And if you want to continue this journey through science, philosophy, and the human mind, subscribe to Lumina Thinking. Because here we don't look for easy answers, we look for better questions.